So if you want to get started off by telling everyone kind of who you are, how you've gotten to this point in your life.
Well,
What was your birth process like?
so I enter the scene. No. um, my name is Max Marchioli. I'm a mechanical engineer, technology student at RET. I'm finishing up my 5th year, part of the 5-year program. Online now because all this Corona crap, and uh, currently looking for a full-time employment. So that's where I'm at right now. Um, I would say, I guess it's kind of a funny story why I went to RIT.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how. I always like to find out how people decided, like when they decided where they wanted to go to school, what they wanted to study. So, like, what was your process of figuring that out?
So it was, for me, it came down to 2 places. One was completely different than the first one was Catholic University of America, which had a beautiful campus. It was in the center of DC. It had its own like little metro station to get on the subway, and it was beautiful. The people were super nice. Everything was so interesting, and it looked like everyone was so like uh, the energy, like everyone was excited to be there and what they were doing. There's a lot of cool stuff. Like coming from a city like Rochester, where everything's kind of in decline. It's
Yeah,
neat, Washington's not like amazing, obviously, but it's
it's
a
nice.
lot different than
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
So being in that kind of atmosphere was a breath of fresh air, something new. It was really interesting. And yeah, but then there's RET and the campus. If you ever been on campus before?
Um,
RET?
just like when I visited you that one time to like help you move in or whatever the hell it
Oh
was.
yeah.
That's
So
like,
you say it's
yeah,
like disgusting, right? It's like
yeah,
horribly ugly, disfigured with orange brick and
yeah.
strangest architecture. You need like binoculars to find a tree anywhere.
Yeah.
It's all like kind of broken, muddy grass. Not great. Okay, you can tell like yeah, these guys stay indoors. They read books. Okay,
Yeah.
so not very encouraging. But what it came down to it was like the co-op program and like all the machinery. In comparison, when it comes down to equipment, RET had aisles of lathes and milling machines, all these tools, a whole machine shop, the works. Whole like sprinkled across a few of the major engineering buildings. In Catholic University, not to shit on them, because it's not like RET is an engineering school.
Yeah.
Catholic University is not specifically directed as a engineering school per se, but their equivalent to a shop was like I think like one lathe, one milling machine, and like maybe a 3D printer. Like RET's got dozens of this stuff, so that was very discouraging because at the end of the day, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to learn something here. And even though it's beautiful, people seem nice over there, it didn't feel like the right reasons for working over there
Were
or
you
going to
gonna
school.
study the same thing at Catholic University?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to do some form of mechanical engineering. I've always had a fascination with like work. I've always like tried to take shit apart when I was really young. My grandfather actually used to be a mechanical engineer. When I was younger, we was like in the basement and rope press, and we would make just like the randomest crap out of like pipes and wood, and like I would make like little toys out of them. And it was awesome, and he could fix anything. It was great. Um, and so I kind of had like a bit of a inclination towards all that stuff. So when RET came along and they had all these big machines, that kind of appealed to me a little bit more
Yeah.
than Catholic University, even though like going to college. So when I was in high school, we were good friends. Obviously, if for people don't know, we hung out a lot. You know, a lunch, all that stuff.
For
We were
the
good friends.
for the true fans, we had our own podcast with
Yeah.
one episode, and then we had like 3 YouTube videos. Check it out, Off Topic on SoundCloud, and then the San Francisco Treat on YouTube for a nice throwback.
Oh yeah. So I would say though, I was kind of in high school. I would say I didn't really go out to a lot of like big events. I didn't like put a lot of energy into a lot of school events and like get-togethers with people. And I knew for college I kind of wanted to change that. I saw it as a point in my life where I could uh, initiate some growth and some change to help improve myself, just as an individual. Um, Especially because like a lot of what I did in high school and before high school was just play video games. Honestly, that's all I fucking did. I'm not like a big sports guy.
Yeah.
Never really interests me, so I play a lot of video games. And now here I am. I gotta leave high school. I leave home and like meet with people, live in a completely different place with strangers. I gotta figure something out here, right? Because I can't just keep doing this my life, right? So uh, I saw the things that I thought were important was my major and the job, studies, and then some of the social things came a little second because for me that felt like too much of a jump to get into that stuff. So going to RAT was kind of better. It's like, okay, I can get a grip on some of this stuff. I can get into groups and clubs focused around engineering rather than doing like a fraternity or sorority or something like, well, not sorority for me, but some people, hey, you know. So something with an objective where it's like I can make myself useful around here. I have an excuse to be here other than like, you know, oh, this guy tells like really funny knock knock jokes, you know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
big knock knock guy.
So what would you say was kind of the hardest part of transitioning from high school into college?
Just time management, I'd say. Looking at it from like a objective kind of thing, but also so something that I think everyone kind of deals with would be like kind of time management, you know, because you have all this free time, all these different things you can do. You're not really like in prison like you are at in high school. So it's really on you to do what you feel is important and what will give you the greatest output. So that was like my biggest struggle because I'd play video games, I'd hang out with I was in a quad, so I had 3 other roommates. Luckily, we got along great,
Yeah.
and we were like fucking hanging around. Like sleep schedule got fucked right off the bat. Like going out 3 a.m. Like why would I go out 3 a.m. like back in high school when I was young? Like and I didn't do shit. Now I'm like with these goons. I'm fucking running around town. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing all the time. We're just fucking around. So that was a big thing is knowing when to I should probably work on this. I need to do that. XYZ. Okay. And then for people who aren't used to it, living with someone who you had no choice to live with or any association with
Yeah.
before, like all the crazy stories of the worst roommates and all this crap.
Even when you do know the person, stuff can happen.
Yeah.
Like I've been living with the same people for like 4 years now, and you just continue to learn more and more about the person.
Yeah.
And their
I know.
habits.
And you hear stories of people like not getting along anymore. I mean, towards the end, I didn't get along with one of the 3 roommates, which I had them a lot still. I wasn't living with them anymore. I was living on with one of my other classmates, and it was mainly because of cleanliness. Right? But something that I feel like, for me personally, is learning to like kind of not be so strict and freak out about little shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just like, it's fucking fine. Like, yeah, you can use this or do that, X, Y, Z, right? because like people use my shit, drive me crazy. It's like, don't use my shit. Like,
Yeah.
don't touch it. Get the fuck away from me. But learning how to live with someone, it's kind of important in life because I very unlikely and not always the thing you want to do is just live in some fucking apartment all by yourself. Usually makes a lot more sense to have a roommate, at least one, just to
Hmm.
kind of make sure you're staying sane and save some money. Oh my god, I don't know how you can even afford to live alone.
No, I know. It's yeah, I think it is definitely a necessary part of everyone's development, learning how to live with someone else, because there's no way you're ever going to find someone who does everything exactly the same way that you do or that you want to do. So
Yeah,
like you kind of have to get used to the fact that other people live different lives.
yeah.
And it's bizarre that so you what what kind of things you said you were looking for a job now.
Hmm.
What's kind of the path you're planning on taking? Where are you looking to go into?
So I said one of the reasons I chose RIT was for its co-op program. So for people who aren't familiar, it's essentially you take a semester off school. It takes up some of your summer as well. So essentially, you're spending half 6 months working. And the co-op part is just saying that the school sponsors it. You take school time off to work. So that's why I'm in a 5-year program. It's kind of strange. It's like, oh, other people in my grade have already got jobs and stuff like that. It's like, I'm getting there. Hold on. But I say so. How I've come to discover what I want to do was I kind of break it up. My first co-op and my second one. I only had two for for a whole amounting to a year now. My first internship co-op was at a place called PPC, made coaxial connectors. That job, the people were great. I really liked the atmosphere. I felt I was so excited to go into work every day. It was fantastic. I was a design engineer, by the way, so I was in the R&D uh, branch of that company, and I do manage a whole bunch of projects, working with a product line manager, all that stuff, and it was like the best. It was during the summer, ended in the actually started in the winter, ended in the summer. Fantastic, love the people, but the work though, coaxial connectors, it's not a lot to say about them. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
They don't change much, probably.
Compared to there, there's some things you can change about it, but stuff you can bring home with you, like the things you learn that you can bring home with you. Now I was like, opposed to my other job working at Magna Powertrain in Michigan, Detroit, learning about transfer cases and different so benchmark engineer for half of it, and then a project management intern. And that stuff you can bring it home, like how differential works and how your transfer case operates. You can, if you want to go off roading or you want to do like a project car, which is something I'm looking into for the future. You can take that your hobbies and your work kind of intersect in that point, right? Where you'll see people who are very passionate in what they do. Job, I wouldn't say they weren't passionate about what they did, but you couldn't really draw a straight line from. I mean, a lot of people were also enjoyed working on cars and stuff like that, and the engineering principles would carry through, right? And like their experience, you couldn't draw straight a line as to yeah, I do the same thing on my car on this. So I would say so. Where I am now is I'm kind of looking for something a little more like PPC with a little bit more of that interest that I can kind of relate. Um, I'm kind of looking at one of the biggest factors is where my job is. Like location is kind of really big for me. That's kind of wasn't. Uh, I was kind of leaning a little bit away from Michigan just because it was in Detroit.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's why I'm kind of looking at Pennsylvania right now, just because I kind of like that region a little bit more than here at home. Because yeah, I don't know this